Yo, 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 what is up, VR gamers? This is your boy Sigma6, and today we're going to be attempting my very first unboxing video. This is completely outside of my realm of expertise. I must have watched a billion of these, but first time actually doing it. So there's a couple phrases that comes to mind that Mike Tyson phrase, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. So this is kind of like that. I've seen a bunch of these and I have no idea how this framework works out. So I'm going to try my best here and try to get the most out of this without looking stupid. So because this is my first build, or at least my first time doing this, what do they say when it comes to radio stations? You know, long time listener, you know, first time talk, like first time caller. That's what this is going to be like. So anybody that watched my last video that I ended up posting with my Haven 420 build that I was talking about with all my components and all the stuff that was requested of me by my friends to do a parts and kind of like the parts picker build, and the reason why I chose those parts and stuff like that. And there was one part that was in that video that I wanted to upgrade, and that's this guy right here. So anybody that's been building in 2025 knows that this is a terrible year to build a custom PC, namely because GPU prices are outrageous. And I was really holding out for a 5090. I was going to try to do a 40 series. I wanted a 4090 card, and my buddy Marisot was like, hey, look, you might want to hold out. The new 50 series cards is going to be released soon. So I held out. I've been sitting on parts, you know, any custom PC builders, you know, current situation, got all these high-end parts, and now they're just waiting to put everything together because they're waiting for the bread and butter, the creme de la creme, the GPU. And I had most of my PC built because I was told, they were like, look, man, it's going to probably be until around, you know, midsummer, late fall before you can get a chance to probably even attempt to get one of these cards. So you might want to just, you know, put it together and just take your 3080 out of your current build and then put it into the new build that I was working on. But it just so happens to be that I found this card at a reasonable price. It was still like $100 over MSRP. But with this, you know, the whole of production for 40 series graphics card, for them to put their work into the 50 series graphics card, this was the system that's, you know, I say the graphics card that's currently in my system. So this is the RTX 4070 Super. This is the Slim Edition, and as you can tell, I bought it off of Newegg, but you can kind of tell where this came from. So not to say that it stopped any kind of production, but today we're not looking at that. we're not looking at that card. Everything that I was actually talking about, that was red herring, because today we're actually going to be looking at this guy. Your boy got one. I can't believe it. Your boy got one, and it is considered by a lot of gaming reviewers who are doing a lot of PC builds. This is like the Enzo Ferrari, the Shelby Mustang GT when it comes to the 5090 builds. So today we're going to be doing our unboxing with the MSI Suprim Liquid, even though it's supposed to be pronounced Supreme. I don't know why they didn't just, you know, spell it Supreme. But this is the Supreme Liquid. This is the one that has the AIO. This is the water-cooled card, and I am going to be doing my unboxing with it. I'm going to be doing it with one hand, given that the other hand is holding the camera. So I'm going to be doing this guerrilla style. Sorry for not being able to use my 4K cameras because they're currently mounted to my PC. What good is that going to do? Because I'm going to have to be tearing down my main gaming PC in the next couple of days anyway to install this guy. And then once I do, I will do the final build, upgrade, or say update my PC parts picker, and then throw that all together. And if you guys want to check out the new upgrading build with the heart and soul of it all, which is this guy right here. So I told Jay and Fal, the creators of Cobra VR, when I got this, that I was thinking about doing an unboxing video, and they were like, yeah, totally do it. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm going to try to do this, and I'm live reacting to this because with the shrink wrap and everything going, you only get one chance to do an unboxing. So what does that comment creator say? That news creator, screw it, we'll do it live. So we'll try and not goof anything up. So I got my pistol tool knife here that I have as my unboxing knife. So we're going to go right in ahead and start cutting off our protective plastic layer here and hope that I don't end up slicing up something, given that, you know, I'm doing this one-handed. And I had to put dampeners over my lights so that way light wasn't bleeding into my camera here, given that my lights are directly right above me. So that's fun. All right, spin this guy around. Maybe I should probably zoom out a little bit here. I guess it wasn't that zoomed in, which is probably good. Given that I'm only using one hand to try to do this, I should probably get most of this into the shot as I can. All right. Perfect. Now that the plastic is off, I am going to flip this guy up. Oh, okay. So it looks like that this isn't one of those ones like this card. When I had to cut this one off, of course they have like the standard opening that you would normally see in these things. So you'll have like the plastic and stuff on the sides that you have to cut, and then of course you have to pull the tabs. It looks like this one isn't like that. So it looks like it's just a standard lift here. Oh, look at that. You got nice little detailing under the box. It just lifted right up. That's pretty neat, and it just settles down like that. That's a pretty nice touch. I mean, when I got this box in the mail, compared to when I got this box, totally difference. Because this was pretty much shrink wrapped inside of like a bubble mailer, and you know, it looks like, it feels like a graphics card. I got this guy. It felt like I was getting a gaming console, and it might as well be that. This box is huge. So we're going to check out some of the markings here, change the game with chrome foiling there on the letters. It doesn't look like there's anything else on the side of there or there. So we are going to go with removing that. So let's see what we got here. We have mounting brackets for the AIO. Those are the threaded screws for that, for the case screws. And I was thinking about changing the fans on the AIO, but I'm probably just going to keep it with the stock fans from what I've been told and what I've heard. The stock fans on the AIO on this thing is really, really good. So I might just keep it that way, namely because there's a proprietary component on there that I've seen people talking about. I don't know exactly. I haven't thought about how I'm going to do the AIO. So we're going to talk about that in a moment when I get to it. So this is the power cable here with the yellow tip. So the yellow tip is supposed to let you know when it's fully seated if you can't see any yellow. And so we got the 4 PCIe connection ports down here at the bottom. This right here is the actual card itself. I'm trying to get this guy out of here with one hand. This is a lot bigger of a card than what I was expecting it was going to be. This is still a pretty beefy card. All right, I'm gonna move this off like so. I'm gonna put our bracket down. This is still a thick, big card. Given that it's water cooled, you would figure that this card will be smaller, like in build, and it's got some weight to it. So the main reason that I'm wearing gloves, it's mainly because every unboxing video they will wear gloves, so that way they don't put a lot of fingerprints on it. So some of the videos that I've seen, that underneath this protective like plastic here, this is brushed aluminum. And anybody that's ever worked with metal or steel or anything like that, when you have oils in your fingers get stuck on metal cases, is terrible. terrible, terrible, terrible. Namely because fingerprints get stuck to it, and once it does, you'll never get it back to its original shine without getting some kind of, you know, residue marks if you're using like cleaning solutions, which I will never probably use a cleaning solution when it comes to trying to clean these things off. But we're going to try to remove our wrapping here without me, you know, trying to pull down this GPU and accidentally damaging it. Because like I said, I am using one hand to try to do all of this build while I'm recording. Because at the moment I am using my cell phone. Like I said, I do have 4K cameras, but they're attached to my computers at the moment. All right, so that is the main one down. And look at that. This card is a showstopper. This is like bringing a muscle car to to a Honda Civic carpool event. This card is beautiful. So like I said, all brushed aluminum or brushed metal here with a nice little plastic shrouding here. There is very minimum RGB when it comes to this card. It's not overly flashy like you see with like the ROG Strix GPUs. They have like whole entire face plates that are just decked out in RGB. The RGB on this card is very subtle. I think it's only 3 spots that actually have it. You will see like this little chevron here that's in between the flange shroud. That is RGB, and I think by default it is white when you turn it on. The Suprim name here, that plexiglass is also RGB, and then I believe the only other RGB is going to be the corner of the card, which is this S logo that they have here. That's very reminiscent of a diamond. So that is RGB. Let's see if there's plastic on the back. There is. You can spin this around without putting too many kinks into the tubing here. At least the back is super easy to come off. That front part was a struggle with one hand, I'm not gonna lie. There is some stickering here. It looks like it's pretty down in there, so I'm not going to try to scratch this card up. So I'll remove that one when I'm off camera. If I had my tweezers and stuff here, I'll probably be able to go ahead and do that and jump into that. But aside from that, I'm going to move the card off to the side. I think I got all the major plastic off of it. I'm going to set this guy off here to the side. And then now we're going to look at the rad. So this version compared to the 4090 Suprim Liquid X, if I remember correctly, that the main difference is they kept a lot of the aesthetic on the actual card itself. This version of the card has a 360 AIO with the 3 120 millimeter fans, and the 4090 that came out, the predecessor to this one, had a dual fan AIO. So this one, because of the fact that it pushes that more power, it's hotter, and this guy has a big beefy, you know, AIO that it has along with it. From, like I said, from what I heard, the fans are actually pretty decent. Now, the reason why I said I might keep the stock fans is because of this, because the cabling that they have that gets powered by the GPU is ran through the cables for the pump, and it comes out to the bottom, and then there is the 8-pin that the power connectors for the fans go through. Now, apparently from what I've seen, that this card has like this daisy chaining technology. It's not like the Lee ones with the infinity fans that has like the wireless connecting that they have, because if you interconnect them, then those cards or the fans are connected themselves. And Lee probably has like the most great patented design when it comes to wiring fans, especially with their wireless designs. But this right here is very, very minimal. Like I said, I'm thinking about either keeping the stock fans or upgrading them to the 120, the 120 fans that I have on my other system, or say with my main build, that's an actual fan. So I haven't decided yet. At the moment, it is in a push configuration, so all the air is going to be running through the pumps itself, and it's going to be sucking air as an exhaust. And I don't know if I'm going to keep it as an exhaust or if I'm going to flip the fans around and then have it as an intake. Because with my current system that I have three 140 millimeter fans. I got called out on that because I was calling them 420 fans, even though I was mainly talking about the size of the radiator, not the fans. But I do thank the people for calling me out in that video, because I was thinking of the case for the Haven 420 case, not the actual size of the fans. But at the moment, I do have three 140 millimeter fans as my intake, and I still might keep this the same. I might flip these fans around to a pull configuration where it's going to pull air through the radiator into the case. Because if I have it right now as an exhaust, it will be a bottom airflow PC. The whole entire bottom is cut out. There's, a lot of airflow. There's an intake at the very bottom that blows air into an angled fan that ricochets off of the glass and into the actual GPU. But since this actually has its own fan built onto it, most of the heat's going to be pumped out through the AIO. So I don't necessarily know if I should keep that configuration. I'll look at some specs to see how that is. That we're probably just going to end up. I really like the pressure that you get by having it as an intake, but we'll see. So when I get done with the actual build, I will post an update. But this right here is just the current unboxing that I had. I was super, super excited to get this. That's the quick start manual there, but it's not as rewarding as the original one, which was the 4090, because the 4090 came with like this really cool, elaborate mouse pad that had like this diamond design. It's like white and gray with the silver MSI Liquid Suprim like bedazzling that you would normally see, kind of like what you see here. And this version, it just mainly came with the GPU and the radiator, your mount casing screws and your power supply, and then your quick start guide. But aside from that, I wanted to get that quick little video just because how rare this card is. I wouldn't say it's super rare, but it's rare to get a hold of. And I'm super happy and thrilled that I actually have one here in my house. So now I have I have a PC that I'm gonna have to tear down and make room for the AIO. That was the reason why I chose the Haven 420 case, because as a mid-tower case, to me, it feels like it's a full tower. This thing is huge, and it's very spacious. I don't really have to move around much stuff inside of there. I would just have to unplug those fans and unmount that bracket that holds those fans in, and then mount the radiator here, and then seat the card, and then get everything booted up, which is great. So at the moment, it does have the BIOS modes here. So this guy here for the silent and gaming, and this thing should be a monster when it comes to running VR and running the high, end ray tracing and all that other nonsense. But at the moment, I really wanted to get it because running VR games, especially when you're running PC to VR games, requires a lot of power, and because those games aren't optimized to be ran in VR. A lot of those games barely run on people's PCs stock as is, let alone when you're trying to put it into a depth of field of a VR environment. So aside from that, man, I'm going to end this video. It's already long enough as it is, but I catch you guys with the next one when I do the fully upgraded build. Hopefully I will get that one up most likely by this weekend and see where it takes me from there, man. So good luck with this build, and I hope it doesn't blow up anything or melt. So I'll catch you guys at the next one. Peace.